calling Chelsea bottle jobs. Now, it's a great...
£1 billion
bottle jobs. It's a great line. And unfortunately for Chelsea, whether they like it or not, that line's going to stick until they win something big. And I'll tell you why I'm well aware of that. I came into a Liverpool team in 1997. In 1996, they lost a cup final to Manchester United, and that team were christened the Spice Boys. Was that a harsh tag? This is a team who'd been to a cup final. This was a team that challenged for the title twice, 2 years in a row. So was that harsh? Was that fair? But that tag is still with that team today, Spice Boys. This tag for Chelsea that Gary's given them will stick until they win something big. And unfortunately, whether you think it's right or wrong, they're the only ones who can change it.
He knew what he was doing.
Did he? Let's ask him, Gail. Let's ask him. Blue £1 billion bottle jobs. Gary, you've had 24 hours or so to reflect. What do you think?
I feel bad now. No, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that it was an instinctive commentary moment because, it was instinctive because I didn't know what was going to happen in extra time. But, Peter, I think, did about 35 seconds after the goal, and Cara did about 25 seconds. And I was getting angrier. If you hear my commentary during the extra time, I was getting angry with Chelsea from the first minute of extra time to the, 2 minutes to go, because I could smell the fear in Chelsea from the very first minute of extra time when I said, why are they sitting off them? Why are they letting these young lads grow? Cara's just mentioned it. And then Jurgen Klopp started to grow. And then if you remember, there was a chorus, there was a song that Liverpool fans were singing for about 5 minutes because they could smell the blood, they could smell the fear in those blue shirts. And I got to half-time of extra time and I said, somehow Maurizio Pochettino or those players have got to work out that if they got into this position at the start of the season and told themselves they've got 15 minutes against the Liverpool team that have only got 2 players that would make their starting 11 normally, which are Diaz and Van Dijk, that they would snap their hand off, grab this opportunity, don't have regrets. And I was just, from a playing point of view, the idea of a team not seizing the day, seizing the moment, grabbing this opportunity, grabbing the ball back, all those things we say to each other in lives as young people, that we want a team to grab this moment. Chelsea shrunk, and I use the word shrunk, and maybe bottle is a very strong word, but playing with absolute fear, froze, whatever you want to call it, that's what we saw in extra time yesterday. And ultimately, I don't want that tag to stick with them, because the reality of it is there's a lot of talented young players there who may sort of go on. I know there's been people today who've talked about, Chelsea's team was younger than Liverpool's. The idea of Klopp's kids wasn't actually something that sort of meant that we were saying that Liverpool's team was younger. Cara will tell you this, by the way. They made those substitutions. I actually pulled my headphones off, put my mic down, and said, Cara, I haven't got a clue who's playing for Liverpool here. There's 3 or 4 players, I don't even know who they are. And honestly, no word of a lie, they were playing against Liverpool's reserves. And they just didn't seize that moment, and I got angry with them, and that's when I thought,
But Gary, listen, it's a word, obviously, as you'll know, that carries the inference of cowardice, and it's an uncomfortable one if you're the manager and that's then suddenly thrown at you if you're Maurizio Pochettino. Does it put more pressure on him, a coach who's really trying to change the culture at Chelsea?
I don't think it suggests cowardice, Dave. To be fair, lots of teams, England teams that I played in many a tournament, were accused of bottling it. And if you remember, one of the greatest football players of all time and greatest analysts of all time, who we've got huge respect for, went for us like you wouldn't believe on the first day of the season back in 1995, Alan Hansen, when he said you couldn't win anything with kids. And we were sat there at Manchester United having to go into training on that Sunday morning, 6 of us that were 19, 20 years of age, not 24, 25 years of age, by the way, 19, 20 years of age. And we had one of the most respected people in British football, who I still respect enormously to this day, and he was entitled to say what he said. And if we hadn't turned that around that season and won the double and won trophies, it had stuck with us. So this is, I'm not going to say the sort of words of sort of man up, but there's an element here of, this is football at the highest level where you've got to perform under scrutiny. And actually, Dave, I was in a position after the game where I thought, look, it is a harsh word, bottle. And I only was referring to the last 30 minutes of the match because I thought Chelsea did quite well in the first 90 minutes. But then when I heard after that they were, I think Maurizio Pochettino said that he felt like his team were playing for penalties, it almost cemented the thought in my mind that they did freeze. Because whoever in a team that's playing against such a weakened Liverpool side with 3 kids on the pitch that, to be fair, found it very difficult in the last few minutes of normal time, why did they do what they did? And look, does it make it more difficult? That's not the purpose of why I said that yesterday. I'm here to basically work for Sky Sports and deliver lines that I feel instinctively passionate about. I'm passionate about football. And make no mistake, I didn't want Liverpool to lift that trophy yesterday, so I'm not saying it from the point of view of bias against anyone. But what I couldn't deny yesterday was the admiration in the second half, because to see those young lads for Liverpool out on that pitch, to see the sort of manager galvanise them and the spirit. And I said before the game, and I said this to you, Cara, on the car in the way, I'm not quite sure I can see Jurgen Klopp stood on the pitch at the end of the game watching Chelsea go and lift the trophy. And what we saw yesterday, and I had it at Manchester United under a manager. Some managers carry a spirit that's special that you can't beat sometimes. It's just that sort of immovable object.
This could be inspiration, Gary. This could be inspiration for years to come, like the Hansen line. They could be talking about this in 20 years as they're lifting titles. Who knows?
And you know, and I hope Chelsea do well. I love Maurizio Pochettino. It's probably one of the managers I admire most in the game and like most. And it's not a reflection upon him at all. But that
Gary,
last half an hour yesterday wasn't good. Thanks, Dave.
We've got a live game we've got to get to.